Music. Hey Jess, how's it going? Missing me? Hey stranger, how have you been? How's the new city and your new apartment? Yeah, settling in slowly. The apartment's nice. My room is so much bigger, so I can't complain. But that's not the interesting. But turns out this place is quite a history, and I can't wait to share it with you. Oh wow, sounds interesting. Can't wait either. How about we have a video chat tomorrow night about 9:00? Is that all right? Sure, sounds great. Music. Hey Peter, nice room. Hey Jess, so tell me what's that you wanted to share about your apartment. So you know how it's been really hard trying to find the place because of all the high rents. Well, I actually find this place at a ridiculously low price. And I know what you're going to say, but it's clean. It's really close to the subway. And I just thought I had the big time. But since I moved in every night, I've just been getting this strange feeling. And I looked into it, and it turns out somebody actually died here in this apartment. 3 people. Fact, I asked around, and there used to be a family here. It was a couple, and their young son. They actually sounded like a pretty normal family. But one day, they were all found dead right here in this apartment. And the thing that's even more weird than that, the murder weapon, somebody stabbed the whole family to death with a fork several times. With a fork, oh God. This is so creepy. The killer must be a psychopath who could do something like that. And for what reason? The reason, I'm not really sure about the reason. Not even the have figured it out yet. So how about we figure out the answers tonight? You don't mean with the Ouija board? Do you remember that technique we read about summoning the ghost? How much we wanted to try that, but we never got a chance to do it. I think this is the perfect time to do that. Oh yeah. But I really don't remember the method, Peter. It's been ages. You don't have to worry about that. I saved it in my notebook. I know exactly what we need. In fact, I have everything we need right here with me. You sure? I don't know. I'm having a weird feeling about all this. Hey, don't worry, nothing will happen. Let's do this, Jess. It's going to be so much fun. All right, let's do this. But first, turn off the lights. Hey, why do I have to turn off the lights? You do it. Oh, shut up, Jess. Don't be tired. Just do it. Got to make the mood just right for the ghost to come, okay? So all I have to do is poke my finger lightly with a needle, then stamp a bit of blood on both sides of the paper so that they're symmetrical. Next, after writing yes and no with a pen, place the candles on the blood spots. And we're all ready now. If we ask the question, the candle on the side with the answer is supposed to flicker so nice. The big moment. Let's try and see if this works. Spirit, spirit, come here. Spirit, spirit, come here. Spirit, are you here? Spirit, spirit, come here. Spirit, spirit, come here. Spirit, are you here? I feel the chills. Spirit, spirit, come here. Spirit, spirit, come here. Spirit, are you? Music here? Why did you see that the yes side flickered? Amazing. This is seriously incredible. Oh geez, just stay calm. And let me ask the question, Spirit, did you used to live here? That's a yes. Then were you over 20 years old? This may be the young son of the couple who was living here. Here, ask if he was murdered. Were you by any chance murdered? Oh, I've got goosebumps. Spirit, were you murdered by someone you didn't know? Oh my God, that means it must be someone within. Music. Applause. You spirit, did someone from your family murder you? Geez, was it your father that murdered you? Still have to ask this one, right? Spirit, did your mother murder you? Music. That's messed up. No, I have to find out why he was murdered. So I'm going to slowly ask one question at a time. All right, before that, Spirit, Is there another ghost there besides you? Oh, so there's another ghost with him. Is the other ghost your father, then? Is it your music? Mother, oh, it's her, Peter. I think someone just went by behind you. Quit messing around, Jess. There's no one here besides me. I don't think I saw someone. I'm really creeped out. Please stop this right now. It's freaking me out. Can you please make it go, music? Away, all right, music. Spirit, I want you to go wherever you came from, spirit. Are you leaving, spirit? Are you here, music? Spirit, are you here? I think it's gone, thank God. Wouldn't want to go through this again. Though I can't believe this method actually worked. I know, hey, I need a glass of water. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Hey, don't be long, I'm feeling a bit tired now. Got to wake up early, I said. I'll be right back, music. It's been more than 5 minutes. Why hasn't he come back? What's keeping him so, music? Long Jesus Christ, Peter. You scared the out of me. That said, I'm going. Wait a minute. Who's with you in the room? Just shut up. No, I'm serious. There's a woman behind you, music. Now on to our next story. This morning, around 1:00 a.m., a shocking murder of a 19-year-old girl took place while she was video chatting with her friend. The body was badly mutilated with the murder weapon that was a fork. The police is yet to investigate if this was a murder or a suicide, because there seems to be no sign of forced entry from outside the girl's apartment. The victim's friend is in complete shock, and he hasn't uttered a word besides this one sentence, only he left. But she never did, music. My parents were looking for a house to rent. Long time, but they weren't able to find any nice house, which was close to my school and Dad's office. After a long search, my dad found a house, which was also close to my school. It seemed really nice, but there was one thing about it that I didn't like. Right behind it, there was an old abandoned house. Usually, I'm not that scared of these things, but that abandoned house really unsettled me. And because my room was at the back of the new house, I could see that creepy house very clearly from my room window. Mom, couldn't Dad find any other house? I don't like my room. I can see that abandoned house from my room window. Annie, don't you know the struggle your dad went through trying to get a decent place to live? Then you guys take my room, and I'll take yours. I don't want to stay in that room. I hate it. Annie, don't throw tantrums. Instead of focusing on these foolish negative things, help me to get the house sorted, unpack your stuff, and get your room set up the way you like. There's a lot of work left to be taken care of. Come on, be a good girl. Oh, no matter what, they wouldn't give me the master bedroom. I knew, music it. After a few days, I got used to the room, and slowly my fear of that abandoned house faded. But one night, something strange happened at 9:00. When I was in my bed trying to sleep, my eyes flitted over to the music window, and I saw someone staring at me from the top floor window of that abandoned house. It really disturbed me. At first, I thought I was just imagining things, and I kept reassuring myself that it's only my imagination. But I could clearly see that person staring at music. Me, Mom, open the door. Mom, open the door. Music. Mom, what's wrong? Annie, Mom, I saw someone standing in the window of that abandoned house. Please come into my room and see. Oh, where, Annie? There's no one there. Listen, at night, even normal things can seem abnormal. This is why I keep telling you not to watch so many horror movies. Mom, I swear, there was someone in that window. Sleep. You have school tomorrow. It was nothing. You were just imagining, okay? The next night, when I was ready for bed, I saw someone staring at me from the abandoned house again. I freaked out. Mom, come here quickly. You didn't believe me and told me I was imagining things. See, someone's there. Oh, where did he go? Oh, Annie, do you know what time it is? You started shouting at this time. Don't you care that your father is asleep? But Mom, enough. That house is empty when no one lives there. Who would be standing at the window? Yes, exactly, that's the point. This is why I'm so shocked. Isn't it weird? Look, Annie, it's Halloween time. I'm sure some neighborhood kids are playing a prank on you. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Oh, some kid must be playing a prank on me. Please get some sleep now, okay? I had decided that night that I'm going to catch that little twerp. Must be someone from the neighborhood. I just want to know who it is. I'll then report this to his parents. He'll get grounded without music candy next night at 9:00. I set out for the abandoned house. I was so determined to catch that kid music. Tonight, when I entered the house, it was completely dark. I arrived brave, but now I was getting a bit scared. I slowly and carefully climbed the staircase. I knew that whoever is playing that trick on me must be hiding in the top floor. When I came upstairs, I looked around the room. It was so dark, and right there was that window through which I could see my bedroom. Oh, there's no one. Music. Hear hum music. Mom, I'm here. Mom, I'm here. I ran downstairs and tried to open the front door, but it was jammed. I tried with all my strength to open it, but it wouldn't budge. Even though when I arrived, I left the door open. Please, someone open the door. I'm stuck here. Please, someone open the door. Oh God, where am I stuck? Oh God, please help me. Oh, music. Annie, wake up. You're getting late for music. School. Annie, what happened? Why aren't you ready for school? Are you not going to school today? No. Why, I'm not feeling well. What happened to you? I'm having fever. Yeah. You look very pale. As music. Well, just take it easy today. I'll book an appointment with the doctor. If your condition gets worse, okay, try to get some sleep, sweetheart. Annie's mother had no idea that the girl lying on the bed wasn't her daughter, but an evil disguised as Annie. Music. Do you feel better now? A music. But I don't feel music. Hungry. What happened to her? As soon as Annie's parents went to bed, the evil, impersonating their daughter, went hunting. Music. These nightly excursions became routine. As Annie's parents slipped into a deep stupor, the beast would prowl the dark streets in search of human flesh and return to rest on Annie's cozy, warm bed. Fear plagued the town. Very quickly, no one knew who or what was behind the brutal murders happening in the dead of night. The once peaceful town was now at the mercy of a serial killer. Even the authorities were at their way's end, trying to come up with suspects. Least of all, no one would be suspecting the young innocent teenaged Annie. Annie's parents grew concerned day by day at her bizarre behavior. There was no explanation for this sudden change in mindset. Annie's mother was starting to get sleepless at night. Her thoughts were on her daughter, worrying and wondering as to why her daughter wasn't being herself. It had been 4 days since her fever. And that is when all of this oddness began. During the day, Annie wasn't as talkative as she used to be. She didn't share her thoughts and feelings with her mother like she used to, and she completely lost her appetite for her mother's cooking. Annie's parents tried to get her to go and see a doctor, but she insisted that she was fine and that she only needed to rest. She convinced them that she couldn't be going to school so soon, as it would completely tire her music. Annie's behavior is really worrying me at times. I get the feeling she's not my daughter tomorrow is the last straw. If it continues, please take her to a psychiatrist, Mom. Mom, help me, Mom. Mom, help me, Mom. Mom, I'm here, help me, Mom, help me, music. Mom, it was a really strange dream. Where's Annie? When Annie's mother discovered she was not in bed, she got worried and searched the house. When she still didn't find her, she checked the garden. Through the window, Annie's mother could not believe what she was seeing before her. Just as Annie was about to get up, her mother quickly ran to hide behind her room door. To see what this girl was up to, Annie came in the house and straight away went to take a shower. Annie's mother was feeling so horrified and didn't know what to do. She went into Annie's room and broke into tears. Oh God, what is wrong with my daughter? She can't be Annie. My daughter would never do that. Music, Mom. I saw someone standing in the window of that abandoned house. Please come into my room and see where Annie. There's no one there, Mom. I swear there was someone in that window. Annie, what are you doing in my room? Nothing. I just came in to check if you were feeling any better. I'm fine. I was in the shower. Actually, your dad is feeling a bit sick. I'd have to go to the pharmacy to pick some medicine for him. It's quite late, so I was wondering if you want to come along to keep me company. Okay, I'm waiting for you in the car. Come down when you get ready, Annie. You know your dad loves you a lot. Yesterday, he was saying to me that he misses your childhood days so much. And you won't believe he still remembers the name of your favorite doll, Sarah. He got that doll for you when you were only 1. Oh my God, you would never go to sleep without her. Yes, I remember. I loved that doll. I used to always play with her, really, because Annie never liked dolls. She never had one. So you found out just as she was about to be attacked. Annie's mother jumped out of the car and locked the demon inside. She quickly got the canister filled with petrol from the trunk and poured it all over the car. Mom, what are you doing? I'm your daughter, Annie. Please open the door. No, you can't be Annie, because my daughter is trapped in that abandoned house. Music. Annie's parents immediately forced their way into the abandoned house and rescued their daughter. Annie was so weak and malnourished that her parents could barely recognize her. Their hearts sank. All she had to survive on during her 4 days being confined to that horrible house was the stinking water from the kitchen top. Had any more time elapsed, Annie's parents could possibly have lost their beloved daughter forever. Not long after all of the sardel, the family discovered from an old neighbor the story behind the abandoned house. It had been such a long time since that house was lived in. The previous owner was a lonely old woman. She was no ordinary woman living her life alone in a large house fit for a family of 10. She had been the talk of the town. There had been many rumors, but the most prevalent of which were her evil nightly activities when the sun set and the rest of the town was deep in slumber. She would roam the streets, search of flesh. She would kill anyone to satisfy her bloody needs. It was a dark time for the town. As the death toll mounted, the local police department had never encountered such brutality. Bodies would be discovered mutilated with organs missing. There were bite marks all over the bodies, unmistakably. Human bite marks the police got their lucky break when the local milkman, during his early morning rounds, discovered over the women gorging on the fat baker. When it came to giving her a punishment, the police decided the local jail was no place for an elderly woman. And the town had seen so much death, they didn't want another, in the form of an execution over their own heads. The townspeople unanimously agreed to lock the evil woman in her own house. All the doors and windows were sealed, so she couldn't escape. Everyone hoped and prayed she died after a long, slow starvation, time enough to think on her crimes. But who knew that one day that evil spirit would come back in the form of Annie? It was mere days after the incident that Annie's parents packed up and left the house thankful they were able to save their daughter's life. Music. Mom, 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 music. Mom, music. Mom, what's the matter, Lisa? I tried to sleep, but I can't. Can you please bring me some milk? Music, 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 H music. Hopefully, this will help you sleep better. There you music. Go, Lisa, wake up. You're getting late for music. School by music, music. Mom, mom, oh my God, not again. Oh no, milk. I can't deal with her not sleeping again and missing music. School, Lisa. Why aren't you sleeping, Em? I can't sleep again. Can you not sleep without milk tonight? I tried, but I can't. There's no milk in the fridge. I'll have to go get it then. I'll be back soon. Don't worry, okay? For music, music, music. Hello, Lisa. It's me. Can you open the door? I can't find the keys in the music. Dark. Go to bed. I'll bring the milk. Don't music, music, drink. But it's red. I don't want it. Drink music, 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 music. Mom, mom, music. Music, H music. Ah, applause, applause, H music. SH music, music. Lisa, where are you? Music. Lisa, Lisa, music. Where are you, Lisa? All right, mommy. What happened? What happened, Lisa? Why are you so scared, mommy? There's a monster in my room. And the monster looks exactly like you, Lisa. Don't worry. Let me have a look. I'm sure it's music. Nothing. Look, everything is okay. There's nobody here. Are you sure? Yeah. You know what? It's way past your bedtime, and you need to be in bed. Right now, you have school tomorrow. Are you sure, mommy? Did you check everything? Look, I'm here. Now, right. There's no need to worry about anything. I'll get you milk, and it'll help you sleep, okay? Can you please sleep with me tonight? Yeah, sure. There you go, music. Good night, mommy. Good night, sweetheart. Music, music. Jenna had always been adventurous, never the one to shy away from a dare or a thrill. So, when her friends challenged her to drive alone on the desolate, eerie stretch of highway known as Whispering Hollow Road, she accepted without hesitation. It was a moonless night, and the only light came from the dim glow of her car's headlights, which seemed to slice through the darkness like a fragile lifeline. The dense woods on either side of the road loomed like silent sentinels, their branches reaching out to claw at the car. As she sped down the narrow, winding path, the wind whispered through the trees, creating eerie, ghostly sounds that sent shivers down Jenna's spine. As she drove deeper into the heart of a Spring Hollow Road, Jenna's G the road twisted and turned, seemingly endless, with no signs of civilization. And sight, she couldn't help but wonder why this place was so famous among the locals. The stories she had heard were full of ominous warnings, tales of travelers who had ventured onto this road and had never returned. Suddenly, the radio crackled to life. It had been silent the entire journey, It emitted a distorted voice. Jenna's heart pounded in her chest. As she tried to make sense of the eerie message, the voice hissed, almost inaudible but distinct enough to send a chill down her spine. Her grip on the steering wheel tightened, and she pressed her foot harder on the accelerator. She was determined to prove that she wasn't afraid of a few ghost stories. The road seemed to stretch on forever, and Jenna's nerves were on edge. Shadows danced at the edge of her vision, and strange shapes darted across the road in front of her. She couldn't tell if they were real or figments of her imagination. As Jenna rounded a particularly sharp curve, her headlights illuminated something that made her blood run cold. Music. A pale, ghostly figure standing in the middle of the road. It was a young girl, her long, wet hair clinging to her face. The girl stared at Jenna with hollow, empty eyes, and Jenna could feel a profound sense of dread washing over her. She had heard stories of a ghostly hitchhiker who haunted this road, a tragic spirit seeking a ride to her final destination. Summoning every ounce of courage, Jenna spoke. "Are you okay?" Music. Jenna quickly realized that coming here was a huge mistake. She wanted to get out of here as fast as possible. Suddenly, the radio started crackling again. Music. "I think I've just one more mile to go, then it'll be all over. I'll never have to come back here again." Stupid radio. Why is it not turning off like many others who took a wrong turn and got lost on Whispering Hollow Road? Jenna sadly never returned back, and no one will ever know what happened to Music. It was Christmas Eve, and Sam sat in his car, parked under a street light in his neighborhood. He held his phone in his hand. Ryan's voice coming through loud and clear as he spoke. "Come on, Sam. It's just a road. $500 for an hour of driving. You'd be dumb to pass this up. It's not just a road, Ryan. Everyone knows Whisper and Hollow is weird. People have seen stuff. They're stories. For kids, you're not scared, are you?" Sam clenched his jaw. The truth was he was scared, but he needed the money. His rent was overdue, and Christmas didn't bring much cheer when you couldn't afford a decent meal. "Fine, I'll do it. You better have the 500 ready when I'm back. Deal? Don't chick it out halfway," Sam Ryan said. Before hanging up, Sam tossed his phone onto the passenger seat and started the car. The heater struggled to warm the freezing air. As he turned onto Whispering Hollow Road, the street lights ended, abruptly leaving only his car's weak headlights to cut through the darkness. The road was lined up with tall skeletal trees. The branches above formed a canopy, blocking out the stars, and moon snowflakes drifted lazily down, covering the road in a thin, slippery layer. A few miles into the drive, Sam started to relax. The road, despite its reputation, seemed normal, just a long, empty road bordered by trees. The occasional gust of wind rattled the bare branches above, but nothing about the place felt particularly eerie. "This isn't too bad," he muttered to himself, keeping his eyes on the narrow road ahead. Sure, it was dark and quiet, but it was just a road. As the minutes ticked by, though the drive began to feel monotonous, the trees all looked the same, and the road seemed to stretch endlessly into the night. The only sound was the hum of his car engine and the occasional crunch of snow under the tires. That's when he saw a young girl standing on the side of the road. She wore a pale dress far too thin for the freezing cold, and her shoulder shook as though she was crying. Sam slowed the car and rolled down his window. "Hey, are you okay? What are you doing out here alone?" Her face was pale, her eyes red from crying. "I live nearby. I hurt my leg, and I can't walk home." Sam hesitated, glancing at the empty road ahead. "All right, get in, I'll give you a ride." She climbed into the car. Sam turned the heater up and started driving again. Music. "What's your name?" he asked, trying to make a conversation. "Victoria Thompson." "How old are you?" "Victoria, I'm 10, she said." Staring straight ahead, Sam glanced at her. As they drove through the dark, silent road, something about the situation gnawed at him. "How did you hurt your leg, Victoria? And why are you out here all alone at this time?" he asked, trying to keep his voice calm. Victoria didn't reply. She kept staring straight ahead, her face expressionless, as if she didn't even hurt him. Sam shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The silence felt heavier now, but he decided not to push her. Maybe she was too upset or scared to talk, he thought, and he focused back on the road. They drove in silence for a while. The hum of the heater was the only sound. Sam couldn't shake the feeling that there was something strange about her, something. He couldn't quite put his finger on her dress. Looked old, almost like something from a costume. And her pale hands rested stiffly in her lap. Unmoving, it made him uneasy. But he shook the thought away. After a few minutes, Victoria pointed to a narrow path disappearing into the woods. "Can you drop me off here? My house is just down the road." "Are you sure? It's really dark. I can walk down with you." "No," she said quickly, almost too quickly. "It's fine. You don't need to. My house is just a little way down the path." Sam hesitated, her sudden urgency catching him off guard. "Are you sure?" he asked again, glancing at the shadowy trail ahead. "Yes, thank you for the ride." Reluctantly, Sam nodded and watched as she opened the car door, stepping into the snow. She limped towards the dark trail without looking back, quickly disappearing into the shadows of the trees. Music. Sam drove off after Victoria disappeared into the woods, shaking his head to push away the lingering cayenne. The road stretched ahead, silent and empty. But he couldn't stop glancing in the rear-view mirror, however. Within a few minutes of driving, a nagging thought made him stop. He thought, what if she didn't make it home safely? It's Christmas Eve after all. With a frustrated sigh, Sam hit the brakes. He turned the car around and headed back, his headlights cutting through the dense woods until he reached the path where he had dropped her. Music off. Grabbing his flashlight, Sam followed the narrow trail into the woods. "Victoria, are you music okay? Music? Victoria, Victoria." There was no answer. He walked further, and the woods opened to reveal an old, worn-down house. Its windows were shattered, and the roof sagged under the weight of snow. A rusted signum of the door read Thompson Family Home. His flashlight beam swept across a ground and landed on something, a gravestone. Victoria Thompson, 1965. 1975. How could she have been in the car if she died almost 50 years ago? He bowled back in his car, jumped in, and slammed the door shut, the engine rod to life, and he sped down the road. Music. Tonight, we remember the tragedy of Christmas Eve, 1975. The Thompson family was found dead in their home. Their adopted daughter, Victoria Thompson, is believed to have brutally murdered them on Christmas Eve before vanishing mysteriously. Weeks later, her body was discovered in the garden, her leg badly mutilated she was buried near the family home. The mystery of Victoria Thompson remains unsolved, some say. Her spirits still roams Whispering Hollow Road, looking for her next victim. Music, stupid radio. Why is it not turning off? Music, music, music. He jumped out and looked around, but there was nothing, no one. He was sure that he hit something or someone. Catching his breath, he climbed back in. Music, music. A plow. See, music. What happening to me? Am I hallucinating? I've been driving it for over an hour. The stern should been nearly done. Do you want to know how I hurt my music leg? When authorities found the vehicle the next morning, the driver's seat was empty. Only faint footprints in the snow led back towards the Thompson family home. Like many others who dared to cross the Whispering Hollow Road, Sam also never returned to see the music daylight. My name is Elena, and this happened 3 weeks ago. One night, my husband came home and told me that he's got something for me. It was a baby monitor, one of the fancy video ones. I asked him if my 3 a.m. visits to the nursery were starting to bother him, to which he replied with a smile, maybe a little, and that he thought this might help us both sleep better. I glanced at the sleek white baby monitor box and said, okay, let's do it. We set it up in the nursery that night. I pointed the camera right at the crib and placed the monitor at the nightstand. I fell asleep watching video feed of our son peacefully sleeping in his music. Caught, I jolted awake. I quickly looked at the monitor. The feed showed James sleeping, looking like a little angel. I smiled and fell back into a deep sleep. The next night, as John and I were getting ready for bed, I asked him if he heard the weird noise coming from James' room last night. John seemed a bit worried and wondered if we got mice again in the house. I hadn't even thought about that until he said so. I started getting anxious and told John that I should sleep in James's room tonight just in case, because I didn't want mice getting into the crib. John said that I didn't need to because I have the monitor, but I was still not satisfied. He frowned and told me that I was overreacting and getting anxious for no reason. It wasn't my anxiety. I was just concerned about our child's well-being. But JN didn't understand and kept saying that I shouldn't be concerned so much and relax. We had a bit of an argument, and finally I decided to just leave it and slept. I woke up again at 3:00 a.m. Instinctively, I reached for the baby monitor. The red light blinded me in the darkness. I waited for my eyes to adjust. There was my little man facing away from the camera, with his little tiffs of hair sticking every which way, sleeping peacefully. I set the monitor back down on the nightstand and closed my music. My eyes flee open. James was facing towards me, now eyes closed peacefully, puffy little cheeks smushed against the soft pillow. Elena, asleep, he's fine. Stop checking him again and again. I thought maybe John has a point. I forced my eyes. Music closed. He's fine. The fog of sleep filled my mind, melting my thoughts into dreamy nonsense. He's fine, he's fine, he's fine. Don't check on him. Just go to applause. Sleep. A loud cry came through the wall. When I looked in the monitor, I saw that James was laying in the same position. But despite the cries coming from the nursery, his mouth was closed. What the hell? I leaped out of bed and grabbed the doorknob and yanked it open, running blindly into the room. Get away from him. Within a matter of seconds, the woman slipped out the window. I grabbed grabbed James out of the CB, held him tight against my chest. John came stumbling and called the police. Someone was in here. As I held James tight against me, something caught my eye, the baby monitor camera, its red light, blinking in the darkness. There was something propped up in front of it. I reached out and turned it over. It was a photo of my son, sleeping peacefully in his crib. Music. Oh, don't tell me music. F music. Who's there? Hello, music. Hello. So cute. I wonder who sent me this. Press me music. HG. Find out music. Christ. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Music. W music. This is the story of a 15-year-old boy named Daniel who was living peacefully with his family. He belonged to a very rich family and was the only child of his parents. His parents had provided him with all the facilities and comforts of life, and he was very close to both of them. But one night changed his life completely. That night, his parents were coming to collect him from his friend's birthday party. They were driving through the woods when suddenly a strange woman came in front of their car. Out of nowhere, Daniel's dad lost control, and their car. The accident was so brutal that the woman and they both died on the spot. Daniel was shattered. After their death, Daniel was left all alone. He had no other family to turn to except for his aunt and uncle, who lived in another town. His aunt and uncle were very sweet and humble. They did not have a child of their own, so they were really happy to raise Daniel as their own son. However, Daniel was in a miserable state and had no other choice but to go with them. His aunt and uncle were rather poor and lived in a very secluded area in a small cottage away from all the hustle and bustle. Their house was in the middle of nowhere. This really bothered Daniel. He could not see any neighboring house for miles despite being with his relatives. He felt lonely and started to miss his dead parents even more. But his aunt and uncle were extremely loving and caring towards him. They were doing their best to comfort Daniel and didn't want to see him suffer. Slowly, Daniel was starting to feel much better and was settling down. He started smiling again and was getting very close to them. But he still missed his parents very much. One night, Daniel woke up to something that shook his soul. Music. Applause. Oh, music. Next morning, he told his aunt and uncle about what he saw in the window, but they didn't believe him and told him that they had been living in this house for years and nothing strange ever happened with them. This is very safe area and it must be his nightmare. But Daniel was sure about what he saw. The next night, when Daniel was about to fall asleep, he heard someone walking in his room. He could not see a thing because the room was dark. Is that you? Music. Daniel, wake up. Daniel told his aunt and uncle everything. He was terrified and looked miserable. They were really worried for him. They were so happy that Daniel was coming back to his normal self. But now he looked even more miserable than before. Next few nights, Daniel could not sleep at all. He was afraid to even close his eyes. This was really affecting his health. He wouldn't talk or behave like he used to. They could not bear to see his health deteriorate like that. They felt as if they were losing their own child. And when they could not do anything to save him, they decided to take him to a good psychiatrist. After examining Daniel's condition, the psychiatrist told them that Daniel is suffering from severe mental trauma after his parents' sudden death, it seems like the loss of his parents has affected him so much, both mentally and emotionally, that he has developed schizophrenia, a condition which is causing him to see things which aren't real. He prescribed Daniel some strong antipsychotic medications and told them that he should take these medications regularly. Otherwise, Daniel's condition can deteriorate to the point of no return. His aunt and uncle started taking care of Daniel. More than ever, they made sure he takes his medications regularly. But sadly, Daniel's condition was not improving. One night, his uncle felt really sick, and his aunt had to rush him to the hospital. In the middle of the music night, Daniel was asleep. His aunt did not want to wake him up because she was afraid that he might not fall back to sleep. So she locked him in the house and drove to the hospital. Daniel heard the car leaving and woke up Auntie Uncle. He realized that he was all alone in the house. That was enough to make him paranoid. He knew that any second that woman would appear from the dark, and there will be nobody to save him tonight. This will be his end. Anxiety hit him so hard that he started searching for his pills like a lunatic. All he wanted was to take his pills so he could calm himself and hide under the blankets. When he couldn't find his pills anywhere, he thought that his aunt must have put them somewhere, where in her room. He got enough courage to get out of bed and ran towards her bedroom. He started searching for his pills, but he could not see them anywhere. Where did she keep them? Music, her mask that night. Daniel found out that his aunt and uncle were behind all this. Their plan was to drive him insane and send him to an asylum so they can get all the wealth Daniel's parents had left for him. They would have succeeded if Daniel hadn't found that mask that night in his aunt's wardrobe. After that, Daniel left their house, called the police for help, and his greedy aunt and uncle finally got what they music deserved. My name is Amber, and ever since my childhood, I've experienced sleep paralysis, a lot more than average person, and let's just say it's one of the most unpleasant things you can experience. Since childhood, I've always had vivid hallucinations when I was experiencing sleep paralysis, and they've always scared me even to this day. This story is one of the most terrifying things that have and ever will happen to me in my lifetime. It all started in late January. I had just moved into this new house in a small village on the island of Hawaii. My house was near a deep pond, and I got it for a good deal because it was supposedly haunted, and no one else wanted to purchase it. But I've never really believed in the paranormal or anything like that, so I just saw the good deal on a decent-sized house and took it. A few weeks after buying the house, a big snowstorm hit one night, causing the power to go out and snowing me, and I couldn't see a thing. So I decided that I would head to bed early and get an early start in unloading boxes. The next day, I hopped into bed, pulled my blankets over me, and fell asleep in the pitch-black room. I woke up to the noise of tapping at my window. I tried to get up, but realized I couldn't move at all. Sleep paralysis took over my whole body. The strange boy kept staring at me. His eyes were pitch black, as if he had no pupils. He had a wide, inhuman, devilish grin, and his teeth were huge. I was terrified and wanted to scream, but I couldn't and was forced to watch him. I kept telling my mind that it was just a hallucination, but it was a lot more vivid than any other hallucination that I had ever had then in a split second. He was gone. I calmed myself, thinking it's all going to be over soon now. My fear started to rise when I heard the noise of clanging in the kitchen. Did he break into my house? I was getting paranoid. I couldn't move. I strained my eyes to try to see the bedroom doors through the darkness. And I could see a figure standing on the other side of my bedroom door. He slowly opened the door. It was the boy. I could hear every footstep he made. He continued to creep towards my bed, and I could see his devilish grin from the corner of my eye. He just stood there for minutes, and it was lasting longer than any sleep paralysis I had ever experienced. I felt that I was about to die. I was just praying it would be over soon. My prayers were answered, and I was finally able to move again. The boy was gone. The next morning, when I woke up, I felt something strange. As I walked on the carpet was soaking wet. And at that point, it hit me, was it really a hallucination? Or did someone actually come into my room last night? I shared this incident with some of the neighbors, and it turns out there was a spooky story about the pond near my new house back in 1947. A group of kids were playing on the banks of the pond. One boy accidentally tripped over a log and fell into the water. For any of the other children could react, the boy sank beneath the surface for a few moments. They waited for him to resurface, but there was no sign of him. Horrified, they ran back to the village to get help. Some local men came as fast as they could and dived into the pond, searching for the young boy. They were terrified by what they found. The boy was sitting on a rock at the very bottom of the pond. His arms were hanging down by his sides, and his body was swaying back and forth with the currents. His eyes were wide, and his mouth was hanging open. But he was dead in the water. The eerie light sent shivers down the spines of the men who had dived in to save him. They were deeply disturbed and said it was such an unusual way to drown. It was as if the boy had calmly sat down on the rock and waited there to die. Ever since, bizarre rumors began to spread around the area. Many villagers believe that the ghost of the drowned boy leered beneath the deep waters of the pond. They said that at night he would come to the surface, cold, wet, and shivering, his icy hands clutching at unsuspecting victims, trying to pull them into his watery grave. According to the rumors, he was trapped in this world by accident, and the only way he could escape was to find someone else to take his place at the bottom of the pond. Music. As I mentioned before, I don't really believe in the paranormal, but that creeped the hell out of me. After that, I put my house up for sale, as I am no longer able to sleep peacefully in this house. A strange, eerie feeling always keeps me restless, but unfortunately, so far no one has come to view the house or made any offers, as it was famous for being haunted. My current situation does not allow me to rent a house, so I am stuck here. I just hope I am able to get out of this music place. This incident happened to me 1 year ago. Our final exams were coming up, and I still needed to do a lot more preparation. Usually our school's library would close by 5, but because of the exams, the school decided that the library would be kept open until midnight, so that if kids wanted, they could stay to study and prepare for the exams. My house wasn't far away from the school, so instead of studying at home, I preferred studying in the quiet, calm library. and mostly prepared for the exams there. That day, I left my house at 6:00 and soon reached the library to prepare for the exams. I was so absorbed in studying, I didn't realize that it was now 10:00. I had never stayed in the library for that long. Usually, I would be on my way home at around 8, even at 8:00. There would be at least some students in the library. But at 10, there was absolute silence. I only had about 10 to 15 minutes of work left, so I decided I'll just finish this quickly and then return home. I was completely lost in my work. When I heard someone limping, I quickly grabbed my books and ran out of the library. There's a very long corridor outside our school library. At the end of that corridor, when you turn right, you'll find the school exit door. I went through the corridor and was quickly getting near the exit when I saw a woman standing at the end of that corridor. I didn't know who she was, but as I got nearer, I felt more and more uncomfortable. I got so uncomfortable that I called out, "Who's there?" As soon as I said that, she was gone within a few seconds. I sighed a breath of relief and continued out the front door due to exhaustion and hunger. I couldn't even walk properly. But I noticed that the street was strangely completely empty, which was extremely odd because the street is normally very busy even at night. You can see people walking on the street due to panic and fear. I kept looking at the ground. While walking, I was nearly home when suddenly I saw a shadow on the ground stretching out to me, even though there was no one around. Me. When I lifted my head, I saw a woman walking in front of me. I found her very strange. She looked as if she was disabled and that she was having trouble walking. And she was walking so slowly that I caught up to her in no time. Now, I was so close to her that I could see her clearly. She was wearing tattered, dirty clothes, and her hands and feet were twisted. Also, her hair looked very messy. I found it so strange that I stopped in my music tracks. My gut was telling me over and over not to go any closer to this woman. I didn't even have the courage to overtake her and walk on music. Music, where is my music? Daughter, I was frozen. I couldn't utter a word due to shock. My brain went numb. I didn't know how to answer her strange question out of fear. I pointed far, far away to the woman over there. I just wanted her to go away. She limped to where I had pointed to her, and she walked so far away that I couldn't see her anymore. I was terrified of the thought that she might appear in front of me again. So I ran as fast as I could. At that point, my brain couldn't think about anything else other than finding someone who could help me, a car or a person or anyone. And then at that moment, I heard that woman screaming from far away. She is not here. After that, I remember nothing. When I became conscious, I found out that my neighbor found me passed out on the ground, and he brought me home. I found this out from him, that in 1998, there was a 32-year-old woman named Agatha. She had a 10-year-old daughter who also went to Eden Hill School. One day, while playing with her friends, she had an accident and died. Agatha couldn't bear the thought of losing her child. Music. After that, Agatha's ghost was seen roaming around in Eden Hill School and the surrounding area looking for her lost child. She's still wandering, hoping to be reunited with her daughter once again. Music. Those days were far better when I didn't believe in ghosts. I had been looking for a job for a while, just any job to support my family. Then finally, I got a job at a small hotel as a receptionist. However, it was only for night shifts, but I accepted the job since I had no other option. A small hotel's night shift job can be difficult, at times, because sometimes you could be dealing with difficult C customers. But it still is a fairly easy job. All you need is willpower to stay up all night. In other words, you get paid to sit in front of the laptop all night, with forcefully keeping your eyes open, pretending to be working it. Can get pretty boring, since you hardly see any customers during the night shifts. And I'm basically mostly on my own at the end of the night shift. I prepare a report for my manager and set up breakfast area. After that, I'm free to go home. But my issue is, as the night grows and it starts to get darker and quieter, my heart starts to sink. Don't get me wrong, yes, the hotel lobby is well lit, but it gets completely and utterly dark outside, and very, very quiet. Another issue with my night shift job is that because it's a small hotel, there's no other coworkers with me on the night shifts. So basically, there's nobody to talk to, which makes this job even more depressing. Yes, I know there's people in the rooms upstairs, probably sleeping right now, but that doesn't make a difference to me. That the only somewhat cheerful moments are when once in a while some family checks in around 4 or 5 a.m. Greeting them might bring a momentary smile on my face. But then afterwards, there's again complete silence and a sense of weariness. I keep looking at the time, waiting impatiently for the clock to strike 7 so I could go home. There was something very, very sinister about this hotel. As soon as I would start my shift, I always felt being watched. This weird fear would take over me, as if someone or something was watching me through the darkness. And that feeling was so real, not my imagination. Let me tell you a little bit about how the hotel lobby is designed. First of all, there's a large entrance door, like hotels usually have, made of semi-transparent glass, which I would lock immediately as soon as I started my shift, right after the day staff left. When you walk a few steps down the hallway from the main door, you enter a small common area where there is a sofa and a small coffee table. Coffee table is covered with magazines. On the right side, there's a door leading up to the breakfast area, which is also quite congested. There's another small door on the left-hand side, which brings you to the large swimming pool area. The hallway leading up to the swimming pool area, I feel, is designed very poorly, with no decorations whatsoever on the walls. Anyway, I don't really care about the interior design of this place, because I don't get paid enough to care. All I care about is doing the tasks I'm assigned to do properly. And I keep the main door closed at all times. There's a doorbell on the right side of it, and I only open the door when a customer rings that bell, although that main door should remain open 24/7 to welcome the guests. But since this hotel is in the middle of a highway, and it's such a remote location, it's best to keep that main door shut. Even the next petrol station is about 35 minutes away from here. It was my 3rd or 4th night at this job. It must be around 3:00 or 4 in the morning, and I was still not used to staying up all night. My eyes were heavy, and I kept feeling drowsy. And then there was a moment when I couldn't fight it anymore, and eventually fell into a deep sleep. That's when someone rang the doorbell. I woke up in an instant and ran towards the main door half asleep. I tried opening the door. using the keys. That's when I looked through the class. There was no one outside. I thought someone probably left. After waiting a while, I was fuming at myself for sleeping at the job, worried sick about my boss finding out about this. He would fire me if someone complained to him about this incident. I went straight to the breakfast area and made myself a strong cup of coffee. I was so ready to stay up alert all night. And then, only after a short, while someone rang the doorbell again, this time I sprinted towards the main door, looked outside. But strangely, there was still nobody there. I looked around wondering, who could that be? There was no chance of someone playing a prank on me either. After that, no one rang the doorbell all night. After a week at the job, I became used to staying up all night. In fact, my manager was quite happy with my performance. He gave me a really good feedback, which was extremely motivating. I desperately needed that. However, instead of giving me a bonus, he added more onto my responsibilities like managers usually do. He asked me to clean up the swimming pool area. After starting at the breakfast tables, I said okay. It wasn't such a difficult task, and I was happy enough to take on extra responsibilities to pass the time. But one thing that my manager forgot to mention was that the swimming pool area was very poorly lit. There were only 4 40 WT bulbs in the 4 corners of the walls. Why did they even bother to put them up? They weren't even doing anything. It was the biggest room in the whole hotel, with such poor lighting. And this was making the swimming pool boundary walls seem even further away than they actually were sometimes. When I looked at the pool, I felt that something is suddenly going to emerge out of the dark water and grab my feet and pull me in it, and there will be nobody to save me. I shrugged off these thoughts and diverted my attention towards cleaning the pool. As I was trying to pick out some leaves and sticks from the pool, I saw a dark shadow of someone behind me in the water. I turned to look behind me so fast that I was nearly about to fall in the water. That shook me to my core. I was shaking all over, but there was nobody there. I looked at the pool water again, but there was nothing, no sign of anything or anyone. Somehow, I managed to clean the rest of the pool, quickly locked the door of the swimming pool area, and rushed back to the music counter. I tried sharing this incident with my morning shift colleagues, but instead of believing me, they thought I was making it all up to scare them, or this was all in my head. It infuriates me that no one is believing me. After a month of working at this hotel, I had the most terrifying experience of my music life. I heard in the news that there will be a massive storm tonight, which might result in power cut for a couple of hours. While I was sitting in the common area, watching this news, all of a sudden, the lights went out. Music, applause, music. I received a call from one of the guests complaining about power cut. And why doesn't the hotel provide a power backup generator? I tried to calm him and explain to him that the generator broke down only yesterday. We are very sorry for the inconvenience caused. After a few minutes of giving out to me, he hung up. I thought I should find my torch and go back to the counter in case any other customer comes down with a complaint. Thank God, the manager at least had provided me a torch in case anything like this happened. But there was one issue with this torch. It was quite old, and it sometimes didn't even work properly. When I tried to turn it on, the light was flickering, and it was very dull. I was standing in the hallway with the torch in my hand when I heard this strange noise of a woman sobbing or moaning in pain. I was moving the torch around everywhere to see where this sound was coming from. It sounded like the sound was coming through the walls, like someone was in pain and moaning. But I couldn't pinpoint exactly where music. And slowly, that sound started sneaking up on me, coming closer and closer music. And then I saw her. She was standing only a few feet away from me. Her face seemed disfigured, and her body was twisted. My whole body was shaking and trembling with fear. Music, applause. When the lights came back, she also disappeared with the darkness. I couldn't fathom what happened. It took me some time to get the hold of myself. Then quietly, I went back to the counter. Don't know how I managed to pass the night, and left an hour before my shift ended. As soon as I reached home, I called my boss that I won't be coming to work tonight because I'm not feeling well, to be honest. I wanted to leave this job immediately, but I knew how hard it was to find a job for me. It was a pity that I couldn't afford to leave this job. After that, whenever I tried to sleep, as soon as I closed my eyes, the disfigured face of that woman haunted me. Thank God the power came back at the right time. Otherwise, God knows what could have happened. Music. It's now been 4 months since I've been working here. If it was 6 months, then I could have left this job. But a work experience of 4 months is music. Useless. It's nighttime now, and I've arrived at the hotel. According to the news, tonight is again going to be a very stormy night. I have bought a new torch, and I fully charged my laptop. I have kept an extra battery as well, just in case. If the power cuts again, my extra laptop battery should last me the whole night. Damn it. I think I left the torch in the car. Music. Low battery warning. I can't see anything. Where did I put the other battery? Oh no. Music. 5 years ago, in one of the rooms of the hotel, a woman was brutally murdered by one of the hotel's night shift staff. Remember, the incident happened during a power cut. Woman's disfigured body was found the next morning, but there was no sign of the staff member who committed this crime. Disfigured body of the night shift receptionist was found on the floor. Next day, no one found the evidence or proof of who killed music. Her at work's my boyfriend Dave shouted. His voice was trembling with excitement. Just trust me, okay? Really, come on, you can't expect me to believe the stupid Bloody Mary stuff. But it's not stupid, I'm telling you, this really works. So you really made your reflection disappear. Yes, you think I'm going to fall for this. It's not a prank, believe me, it's real. And it's going to blow your mind. Just try it. It's not like you have anything better to do. Think of it as a fun little way to pass the time on a boring Monday evening. All right, so what the hell am I supposed to music? 10 minutes later, I stood in front of the mirror in my bathroom with the lights switched off and a lit candle placed on the counter, framing the sink. So what next? I asked, wanting to get this over with quickly. Now, pick up the candle, bring it close to your chest, and look into the mirror. I obliged with the candle in my right hand and the phone in my left, noticing that Dave was doing the same. Now smile menacingly. What? Oh my God, grin at the mirror until you start to get scared. I was about to make a smart-ass comment, but then thought better of it. No sense in dragging it out. I leaned forward, brought the candle closer to my jaw, and after a couple of awkward seconds, stretched my lips into my best impression of an intimidating smile. faint light from the candle basked the lower half of my face, the glint of my eyes, the way my crooked canines gleamed the malice that I intentionally emanated from my face began to make me feel comfortable gradually. But steadily, mirror, mirror, on the wall now, we are in your throw. All we have is this to say, come, and take our reflections away. It was so stupid, so childish, I would have scoffed at the ridiculousness of it all, but the condescension caught in my throat, suppressed, as it was by something else, fear. I could hear the wind howling outside, causing the creaky branches of the tree outside to groan and scrape against my bedroom window, the chill in the air, which made my insides shiver. But most of all, I could see the silhouette of my face as it was reflected in the mirror, grinning back at me, with naked malice etched upon its face. What the eye noticed, my reflection's eyes flicked off to the side, mischievously, but mine had stayed put for a moment. There my reflection had acted independently. I shuddered, as if someone had dropped some ice down the back of my neck. It made me acutely aware of the dark corner of the bathroom. I couldn't help but think that there was someone else here with me. And the more I thought, the more real it felt, as if I was trying to will my fears into existence. I could imagine it all: the rustling of clothes, the tapping of footsteps, the sound of deep breaths. Not real, it's all in my head. I tried to convince myself that my mind was playing tricks on me, then exhaled to calm myself, music down as I opened my eyes and glanced at the mirror. I was terrified. The smile had dropped from my face, and I was trying to make sense of what was happening. But not my reflection. It was staring at me, lips still twisted into a grin. It's working, isn't it? What the hell, Dave? What the hell is happening? Wait, it'll only get better now. No, end this now. Before he could reply, something changed. My reflection moved, its pupils rolled back into its skull, still smiling. Always music. Smiling. Stop this, Dave. See, it works. Just stop this. I don't know how it'll end on its own. I dropped the candle, jumped at the light, switched, and flipped it on, feeling relieved as the light flooded the room, sweeping aside the dark heart pounding in my chest. This is crazy. It really worked. My reflection is gone. It was like it wasn't even there, the light rays falling on the mirror and just passing through me as they retreated back. It's some truly freaky stuff, isn't it? But don't worry, the instructions say that it'll come back the next morning. When you wake up, how did you even find out about this? Well, I was searching for some crazy stuff on the dark web. And that's funny. What is I can still see my reflection in the glass screen of my phone. Does this thing only work for the mirror? I don't think so. But music, he